We are in the thick of the digital age. Consumers are shopping more and more online. But when it comes to a car, the look, feel and touch is very important. So are car dealerships still relevant in the digital age, or is that set to change? That's what we're going to debate and discuss in today's session of the Autocar Regional Dialogues powered by Reliance General Insurance. We have a power pack panel today. All of them are dealer principals, very close to the customer. And I'd like to introduce all of them. And I would like to welcome Mr. Gaurav Goyal from Impression Honda. Welcome. Mr. Akhil Agarwal from Gajraj Hyundai. And Mr. Rahul Kamani from NR Mahindra. Gentlemen, welcome. Thanks very much for joining us. Obviously, digitization is really kind of accelerated post-COVID. I think that has really taken a different dimension. Gaurav, I'd like to start with you. Clearly, we've seen that people still like the whole experience of walking into a showroom. That hasn't quite changed. But just to get your sense of what impact really has this digitization the last couple of years, which has really accelerated, had on retail.
Well, the digitalization had started quite before COVID, but the customer during COVID was barred to go actually feel the touch and feel factor to enjoy it, going to the shops or dealerships, or whether it be for anything, not just keeping cars in mind. Even if you wanted to go to an optician to get a new pair of glasses, you were barred to do that. So digitalization has helped people get educated about products, and they could always have that booking, and they could make the bookings in the dealerships through their home, rather than coming down to the dealerships and putting in all the documents required for making a booking. They could always upload those documents and online and facilitate the whole process of buying a car. It has made it easier. So it is all about the dealers who adapt to these situations and who can embrace it. They're doing very well with it as well, because a lot of things have become easier for dealers to communicate with the customers through digitalization.
Right. But just turning to you, Akhil, do you think people have gone back to the old ways? I mean, we saw, as Gaurav said, it was there in, let's say, everyone's a lot more digitally savvy, and you couldn't go to showrooms, so you had no choice. If you needed a car, you had to do it a lot more online. But now that COVID has just disappeared, and we are in full force in a wave of strong consumerism. People are congregating in groups. Hotels are full, marriage halls are full. It's as if that having this personal interaction, people are doing more of it. And I'm wondering if it's gone back to the old way in some sense, where people really want to have the showroom experience like it was before. But obviously, they might have done their homework, as Gaurav said, before they get in there.
So what I'll do is, Hormazd, I'll break the answer into two parts. One is, as you said, increasing role of digitization and its impact, and and the role of COVID in the digitization, and how pre-COVID, post-COVID, how it is. So in my view, digitization is a journey. We are in the continuous digitization process in the last 10, 15 years, whatever. COVID just accelerated it. It acted as a catalyst. People were forced into their houses, data was cheaply available, and people started going on the net, and a lot of things started happening digitally during the COVID era. So now what has changed, pre-COVID, post-COVID, what has changed is that people are very much informed. People, many times the customers have more information about my car because they have checked my website, the specs of the car and the competition car. So for example, if the customer is comparing a Creta, he's seen the Vitara, the Seltos, all the cars digitally read, much more informed. Now coming to the touch and feel. Touch and feel was there, is there, and I think it's going to be there. So that is there. Yes, during the temporary phase of COVID, the physical interaction was less, so digital involvement was more. Touch and feel has come back. People that time also wanted to test drive. People used to come with mask and sanitizer. Now people are coming otherwise. But yes, digitization was there. It has increased. Touch and feel is required, and the requirement probably, as you have rightly said, post-COVID, during the COVID it went down and it has come to the normal days. But the role of digitization is gradually increasing every day. As you have seen, Ola did the experiment of selling digitally or through online. but they also had to open, experience centers, so whatever you call it. So touch and feel will be there. And when you come to service, as you rightly said, you can't digitally, service it. So unless there's a software update which you can do, like you do it on your mobile phone, you can do. But if there's any engine, mobile or whatever change, so you will have to physically visit the.
Right. Rahul, if you want to add anything to that, you've heard what Gaurav and Akhil have had to say.
I would like to add, yes, touch field is going to come back, sir, because see, there are 2-3 things. Because why dealership creates a brand presence. So it's a brand equity, it's the culture. So, unless the customer comes, he gets that feel of the culture and the, the loyalty behind the brand, and the brand presence which is there, which is very, very important factor for customer to come in. Second, sir, yes, digitalization, we have helped to get all the finances online done. But again, customer, wants to negotiate. Now, where do they go? So they have to come to the showroom to negotiate on the special rates or the incentives or the special schemes which are not there shown online. So that also forces a person to come to the dealership to understand that factor also.
You need to do that on the phone as well.
We can do that, sir, but what happens, for an Indian consumer, it's a complex purchase, a car. It's one of the most significant purchases for them, one of the largest purchase for them, and a complex purchase. So what happens, sir, that, they need to understand the total, the combinations, comparisons based on their lifestyle, on their budget, what they require, and they want a face-to-face interaction, so where a person can tailor-make something for them.
Just to understand, is as Rahul said, is this negotiating factor a critical element in coming to having a face-to-face discussion with the salesman?
I'd like to add something to it. See, like he told, it's one of the most significant purchases of a consumer. What I personally feel, to be very specific, it's the second biggest purchase of a
After
consumer.
the house.
After house. So I personally feel negotiations used to be there pre-COVID, but post-COVID what I have realized is most of the offers are already available online, whatever the company is offering. And post that, whatever the dealer is allowed to offer, we also post it on our social media. Like whatever we are willing to offer from our margins, or whether we are willing to pass on the incentive that we receive from the companies to the customer, we always put it off online. So I personally feel more than the negotiating part, they just want that, the customers, they really do want that assurance, and that assurance they are still not able to find it online.
Right.
Once they visit the place and when they see everything with their own eyes, when they have that touch and feel factor involved in it, is the part where they feel assured and they want to meet the manager probably, or the owner of a dealership. Like I belong to a small town, so most of my customers, they don't come to meet me for negotiations, but they come to meet me for a personalized service, whereas they want to take my opinion whether the car is good or not. But they have already done their research and they are already educated about the car.
Right. So, no, that's a good point. In fact, I'd like your view, Akhil, because, on one side, Rahul said this negotiating is still there. Gaurav said it's a lot online. I think in today's age where, let's say, the supply has generally been constrained, it's easing up now. We had the semiconductor issue. So basically it was, all, let's say, supply driven, and discounts had really come down. And really it was the waiting lists which people wanted to negotiate. That was like the new discount. So just wanted to get your view on, after listening to both of them, that, let's say the nuances of visiting a dealership and why that is still so important. Apart from, let's say, the negotiation part of it, the comfort part of it, the personalization part of it, that sort of thing.
Actually, if you ask me, the nuances is in the nature of the customer. It is not in the nature of the business. Because there are customers who are traditional in their mindset. They will not buy unless they visit a dealership. They will not buy unless they do a test drive. So there are some people who knows that meko Creta chahiye, this particular model, this color, this make. They don't even want to do a test drive. They know they have used their friend's Creta or their relatives and they have decided. But some, they would like to see the car. There are some customers who would like to see the specific car before getting registered. So they would like to go to the stockyard, note down the engine chassis number, and they will say कि यही registry होके आनी चाहिए. So Indian customer is evolving, but it's a journey. And negotiation, that's on the customer behavior. On the specific question of negotiation, I think there are many customers who would like to come and negotiate. Online में उनको मज़ा ही नहीं आता है. phone में उनको so I would like to
So just to add what Akhil said, sir, because customer lacks confidence. So what he wants the trust and the assurance when he comes to the dealership. So when he knows when he's talking on a negotiation front, it's not only about car negotiation, it's about the finance, it's about the trade-in, because he again brings a car. Now he feels that if I bring my old car physically to a showroom, it is better than online, because I'll get a better rate there. I can negotiate better for my old car as a trade-in.
So some of these online platforms like Spinny and all, very seamless, they work really well.
But still the dealerships are doing the maximum business. Spinny comes to us to purchase the old car from us.
Plus, sir, that mindset also Indian consumer is, I want to see it, because again they feel what car will they give? They'll give a damaged car, or they'll give a, a little dented car. So in the time of delivery, they want to be there.
Is the issue. Many people are ready to pay 5 lakh, 10 lakh, 10-20% of the value of the car just because of the choice number they want. Yes. So there are lots of nuances.
And also the whole, let's say, the whole experience, the sense of occasion of buying a new car, going with the family with the ribbon and coconut cake.
The traditional puja and then the customs.
Is that still very valid, or are customers evolved and say, "Gaadi ghar pe bhej do," I don't.
Some of them are. They like to take the car as home delivery.
Right.
But most of the customers, they do come to the showroom, and they do come and do the puja, and they bring their pandits. A lot of customers, they bring their pandit along with them to do the puja.
So it's still a big deal, a big occasion. So what you're saying is, move to cart is a long way off.
A long way off for cars.
Along with it, I personally feel, even like we were talking about exchanges of the cars, and there are websites who offer exchanges, seamless exchanges, or buying the second-hand cars or the old ones. But there's a lot of gap when you explain the car when you do a few checklists and you just tick mark, and the actual car's condition is very, very different.
From what you...
and there's a vast gap between the reality and the digital picturization of my car.
Right.
So I might not get as good as a deal that I get on the website that I get on the dealer.
Something like these Airbnb pictures which you
Correct.
see. Yeah.
So you cannot explain everything.
Trust is one factor. It's quite interesting. Normally, digitization and online transparency builds trust. We've seen Amazon do that brilliantly. I mean, it's one of the reasons why it's so successful is the transparency and trust. But with cars, it seems to be the reverse. The look and feel is fundamentally a trust issue, negotiation, and...
So I was talking about this to someone. This is not my answer, but I'll anyway copy paste here. The single biggest reason why it doesn't work in cars and it works in any other goods is the returnability factor. In Amazon, you buy a TV, even if it is, let us say, 10 lakhs TV. If you doesn't like, you can return it. But even if it is a 6 lakh car, you can't return because it is registered on your name.
Registered already.
So the moment the returnability is taken care of, probably things will change.
Right.
But there are a lot of government norms that has to be taken care of with cars. So I don't think that the return policy is going to be that easy in the future as well.
And registration means immediately it's a second sale, so
correct.
You've lost value.
Having said that, the process of selling is totally digital. Not totally, but probably 80-90% digital.
So that's what I want to come to.
While the sale is not digital, the transaction is not digital, the part before transaction, the generation of leads. So how do we sell? So since all of three are dealers here, so सबसे पहले there are activities, inquiry generating activities. Either you run an ad on social media, YouTube, website, Google search engine optimization, Facebook. Earlier, guys used to stand outside banks, they used to do leafleting. So there are digital activities, there are physical activities. From there you get the leads. Then you can call those people, and if anyone shows any interest, out of 1000 leads, probably 20% would show interest, and you would get 200 inquiries, which are opened in our software as a customer
relationship management.
Customer is interested. Out of those 200 inquiries, probably 20 or 30% would say, okay, I am ready to buy, and they would do a booking. But before that, they would do a test drive, they would get the value of the old car, blah, blah, blah. From those booking, 90% gets converted into retail, and 10% would say we are not interested. So the process, the journey where we used to do activities and generate inquiries, that has become digital now.
Right. So that's the question I wanted to ask, as dealers. How has that made you raise your game, and has it come at a cost? Is there a lot of investment that has to be done to it, or has it kind of let's say reduce the cost factor, because obviously digitization tends to do that? I mean, does this mean you have to really upgrade your tech and spend a lot more on marketing in that sense? So just wanted to understand, how have you had to kind of adapt, or let's say raise the game to meet the digitization, not the buying itself, but just the process of booking the car?
Sir, what has happened now with digitization, because I feel digitization has rather reduced the cost than, because earlier we used to have these paper ads, or if you see the billboard ads. So obviously that, or even a radio ad, those are much more costlier.
And not targeted.
And not targeted. Now, you're actually targeting the customer, because through the digital marketing, using the SEOs, search
and even
engine
geolocating them,
optimizations and geolocations, and through your social media networks, you are actually targeting the customer's needs and the quality of customer what you're looking for. If I'm targeting a doctor, so then I'll be going through that. Plus on the area also, geographies also you can target through occupation, geography, lot of factors which are there in Google now, which you can do through Google Ads and all that. Right. So which has actually worked, because now, and if you see, it is growing. Earlier it started with 10% conversion, now it's almost 30% conversion in dealerships now, through digital inquiries itself, So we have had a digital back office team, who's been working on this on a 24/7 round the clock. Not only for test ride bookings, now we have an online system where you can do the online test rides. For a service also, you can pre-book the service online, when you come for a service. So these facilities are there. Even we have credit card facilities now also. That's also part of digitization also in our dealerships, where customer can pay through credit cards or any other digital forms also of payment, which has...
Right. So very interesting. He's saying actually the costs have come down of marketing. Would you?
I tend to disagree with Rahul because in my view is that it all depends how you treat it. So for us, we started just a couple of months before COVID lockdown happened. So and our dealership was new, and we have old stalwarts dealers in the city, and Gajraj Hyundai was on one lane, just one showroom, while a lot of our co-dealers had multiple showrooms. So I realized that there was just no walk-in, and I used to, in a month we had 10-15 walk-in, and we intended to sell 100 cars at that point of time. I would say, how will we sell? Even if we convert each of them, we will not even do 90% of the target. So I asked, what are the sources of leads? So one was tele-in. Our numbers are new. So people would not call tele-in, so we have to do tele-out. We don't have data. Some dealers have sold more than 20,000 cars the day we were born. So the only chunk was digital. So we went all out on digital, and we started doing tie-ups. We created our own website. We did search engine optimization. We had our Facebook. We had we engaged with influencers. I did ads on LinkedIn. I come from a corporate background, so we did a lot of advertising on digital.
But that was costly.
That was costly, and in my view, digital is expensive because it is targeted and it's a monopolistic world in digital. So either you go to Google or you go to Meta.
Yeah, Meta. Yeah.
Or you go to Meta, and they charge you a bomb, and you have to pay them. But the only advantage is that these are targeted.
Yeah. So the quality
you can control it, because and of late probably there's no going back.
I just want to turn to another topic. Is basically, you've talked about investing in the digital side. I just want to talk about investing in people resource in that sense. You're getting a more informed customer. He's walking in the showroom knowing everything, all the specs. Does that mean that your service advisors, your salespeople, all of them need to be, their kind of knowledge and skill levels have to be upgraded substantially to give informed responses to a very well informed customer? So yeah, Gaurav, you can start and I can get everyone's.
I personally feel earlier the sales consultants or the service advisors needed to be very well informed themselves.
Right.
Now they need to be even more informed.
Total experts.
Because the customers, they are already informed the level what they used to be informed in. So now they are no longer, I personally feel that I don't call my consultants as sales consultants, whereas I personally train them to call themselves an educators.
Right.
Whereas they have to educate the customers whatever they have missed out on.
Right.
So now customers, rather than the consultant just filling out some kind of doubts of the customers, now customers come with pre-decided questions.
Right.
So they have a list of questions, and even before the customer shows before the consultant shows the customer the car for a test drive or a sit out, the customer is like, what's the engine capacity? What's ADAS like? What level of ADAS do you have? And when will it stop? How does it work? So they have already known about the features. Now they just need to get the specific answers that they are looking for, which the online platforms cannot provide. So the sales consultants or service advisors are always going to be needed, whereas their job has to be more refined and polished rather than what they used to be before.
Right.
So they need that proper training, and I personally feel even that training aspect digitalization is helping us with.
Right. Now, clearly has its advantages, but again, Akhil, just taking up from, what Gaurav said is that really the sales consultants have to be absolute experts now. And quite frankly, they can make or break a sale depending on how they interact with it. So really very important aspect and let's say person in the business. And I want to also ask you, is that talent also hard to get now? Because what I understand, there's a shortage of good talent in this area as well.
So, look, talent, let me answer the second question first. Talent is a scarce resource. You can, you can get infrastructure, you can get money, bankers are available, but for people, and especially we are, we call ourselves, we are service sector.
It's very people intensive.
People intensive, and we are MSME. At the end of the day, we are not large OEMs. Right. We don't offer salary through the roof. Right. We offer decent salary. Right. And a lot of it comes through incentives. So, I worked in companies like, PepsiCo or Vedanta, where starting salary, when you hire people, starting salary is, let's say, 60-70,000 a month or 6-7 lakh rupees annual package, where you hire CAs with 12-13 lakhs of annual package. Here, the consultants are paid very less, 15-20K plus incentives of 15-20K. And here you want them to deal with customers who are like, buying a car, so who are the upper middle class, well educated, knowledgeable, and they come with kids, armed with all the information. So your second question is talent tough to get? The answer is yes. Right. In my view, it's going to get tougher in future. Right. So you have to hold to your talent. You have to
can digital supplement that or make a compensate for that in some way? But at the same time, digital is making the customer, as we discussed, so much more educated.
Digital
helping our sales consultants grow. Digital training.
So these things, in my view, digitalization or the net, these are double-edged sword. It always depends on how are you using it.
No, very interesting. I think it's been fascinating discussion. We're running out of time, so just want to take one last question. Is from the OEM side. What are the obviously y'all at your end, y'all are doing a lot because interfacing directly with the customer in your regions, your localities, your ecosystem. From the OEM side, are they doing enough digitally to support this? Should they be doing more? And obviously, it has to be in tandem with their kind of digital activities as well.
As much as the number of conferences that I have attended and the management team that I have met, I have come to realize that Honda, if I particularly talk about Honda as a brand, they have focused 80% of their funding, the marketing budget on digitalization. So that's that transition that they have shifted to.
Right.
And they're really working hard on it. And like he was mentioning a few minutes back about the lead generations and the types of leads that we get. So the web leads from Honda, for us as our dealer, I think web leads from Honda is the maximum number of leads that we are getting.
Right.
So the volume of leads that we are getting from Honda is a lot.
Right.
And that's all thanks to Honda and their marketing. And I personally feel that whenever I open Instagram or Facebook, there's no particular dealer when I see ads for Hyundai cars or Honda cars or Mahindra cars, I don't see a particular dealer's name there. Right. It is the company that's targeting and the company that's spending, whereas we end up spending probably, let's say, a few lakhs every quarter. But the companies, the OEMs, they are spending in crores.
Right.
And their volume is a lot and their reach is way beyond ours.
Right. That's very interesting. I think, Akhil, clearly all the OEMs are doing a lot. I think even Hyundai would be doing a lot. I mean, is it enough? Is there in the right track? I mean, could there be more support? So just to get your thoughts on that.
My view is that they are doing enough. As far as Hyundai is concerned, I think, digitally they are doing a lot of ads. They are supporting the hyper-local stuff, which started about a year and a half back. So that is also doing fine. They support with, a lot of creatives, which we added to our advantage. We get a lot of web leads, tele-in leads. So I think the support is, these are very, very subjective matters, right? It might be good for me. Someone might feel that, you need to do little more. Right. But in my personal view, I think it is enough, and only time will tell, that who did how, but in my view, it's enough. And
yeah, I mean, the standard thing was when a car is launched, jacket cover on a mainline newspaper was like hygiene. I don't know whether, the dealers expected that from the OEM. I don't know whether in digital there are some expectations, that need to be done. So just to understand, again, Rahul, just to take it from you.
Sir, there are challenges, I would say, because see, digitalization, yes, they are doing good enough, I think, I would say, because it's not about only sales, because we are a service-oriented industry. So, we have to be also service-oriented also, from the point if the customer gets better service, then only he can come back, or he can also recommend somebody else to buy your car. Right. So, so the OEMs are also focused on, digitalizing not only the sales portion or the showroom, but after sales portion also. So it's one plus advantages. But again, what happens, sir, I find also there's a challenge because we get the dump from them. Now again, cleaning that dump, and again repetition of the calls goes in. That also creates a lot of little negativity with the customer. That the same guy, you called him 10 times, the same CRE called.
thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.